welcome. It is No Apologies on Beck, and good to be back. I was down in South Dakota.
You got a lot done, I think.
I did. You're going to see so many interviews from so many interesting people, but we're going to talk about all of that
in the future.
In the future. Tomorrow even, or tomorrow night, we're going to have our first interview from down there.
Excellent.
So I'm super excited about our guest tonight. We will have our guest for segments 2 and 3.
Correct.
For segment 1, I want to talk a little bit about an announcement that was made, I think 3 days ago. Sanford Health, which is, I think, clearly the largest healthcare provider in North Dakota, based out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and has a strong presence in Minnesota as well. So
huge announcement.
Huge announcement. So it's not new news, but we certainly have not had a chance to cover it here, unless you did when I was gone.
Did not yet.
All right. So the announcement is that the COVID vaccine will be mandated for all employees, and you have until November 1st to do that, and so that's huge. Now let me say from the get-go, I think Sanford Health is top-notch, high quality. I have friends, I have family that work there, I know physicians. It's good. It's really good. They have been a little bit on that front edge of pushing for COVID and stuff. It's been Sanford physicians, at least in Bismarck and I believe in Fargo, that have been pushing for mask mandates and all of this, even though we now know they didn't actually work. And but Sanford, in and of itself, is a very high quality institution. They have the right. Now,
yep.
I have had many emails, messages, messengers, signals. People are very, very concerned. Employees at Sanford are contacting me, and they're very concerned. And I think the desire is to prevent them from implementing this mandate. But my position is this: they are a private organization. They have the right to mandate. The thing is, you have the right to decide whether you'd like to work there. And believe me, I'm not saying, hey, it's easy just to quit your job. This is going to be a very difficult decision for people that do not want to have the COVID vaccine. There are a couple of components to this. This announcement, by the way, was made right on the heels of the American Hospital Association making an announcement that they are in support of mandates. There are many hospitals across the country, many health systems across the country that have implemented it as well. So Sanford's not alone. However, Sanford does stand out in this area. Avera down in Sioux Falls, their competition has not yet implemented one. Alina in Minnesota, Essentia in Fargo, St. A's in Bismarck, none of these. Now maybe they all will. Maybe they all will, and the healthcare workers, you're screwed. But for right now, you do have options. The thing is, why is there this consternation about if you're going to lose your job, just get the vaccine? But people have legitimate reasons to not do it. It is not FDA approved. We have covered in this show, and this is not like a sort of tinfoil hat. It is experimental. It's approved for emergency use, and they are looking at what is happening with the hundreds of thousands and millions of people that are getting the vaccine now and using that in place of the trials that would have normally been required. So it is experimental. No one can argue against that, not legitimately. Then the other thing that we have in place is what's going on with the variants. We don't know what's happening with Delta. We're told, oh, Delta's covered. Well, then we heard from Israel, which we brought up on the show, 64% effectiveness. There are other studies that show that it's actually much higher. In Canada, for example, in Scotland, the Pfizer shot was shown to be 79% effective for the Delta variant. AstraZeneca only 60%. But then we have Lambda and we have Gamma, and are these vaccines going to be effective against those? The other thing that we need to think about is if you are vaccinated and the vaccine works, I am no threat to you if I'm not vaccinated. So it really is a personal choice. I understand that people want to require for me what's safest for me in their mind. I get that. But if the vaccine works, then you're not at risk. Now, it has been said that with the Delta variant, that a non-vaccinated person is more likely to get it and transfer it to, but to someone who is vaccinated,
Right.
but we don't know that. That's all guessing. Think about the Texas Democrats, where 10%, over 10% of them, who were all vaccinated, got COVID. There is so much more here that we don't know, and so people who may not want to get the vaccine simply are like, I'm not sure that I feel comfortable yet. Maybe I will soon. Maybe I won't. But the point is that it's not that they're crazy people. They have legitimate concerns.
Now, the PCR tests were just scrapped this week as well. They just decided, the CDC said, that's it, we're not using these anymore. And that just like magically disappeared at the same time. So there, you can throw that into the mix too and say how many people have been improperly diagnosed with it.
Yes, well, and that's the thing. Every step of the way, they've changed, they've altered, and so we don't know what's what. And the people that are advocating for certain things don't know what's what. Sanford Chief Physician Dr. Jeremy Cowells said, quote, that they decided not necessary to wait for full authorization of a COVID-19 vaccine by the FDA. So again, I'm not making stuff up. They don't have full authorization. And based on probably the American Hospital Association, they're saying, yeah, we're not going to wait. For me, I am going to wait. In fact, I emailed Sanford today. I've relinquished my privileges. I can no longer practice at Sanford.
Wow.
Because for me, in my assessment, for my risk-benefit analysis, I have chosen not to get the vaccine at this time. I do believe that if the vaccines work, I do not pose a threat to people who are vaccinated. And so that's
a big deal to just step away like that.
Right.
And obviously you had to think about it a little bit, but not too much apparently.
Well, it's easier for me than it is for people that are gainfully employed solely by Sanford.
Right.
So I'm not thumping my chest, but this is what I've decided to do, and I think that Sanford is going to find a little bleeding of their employees, because if you look at it, Sanford has CNAs on the ropes. Sanford has Essentia on the ropes.
True.
If I were CNAs or Essentia or perhaps Avera in Sioux Falls, I would capitalize on this. I would leverage it. I would say, listen, folks,
Right.
if you want to work for us, we will match your package. Come on over. We're not going to impose these types of things on you. We believe in personal choice. Whatever. That's what I would use, and I would take this opportunity to increase goods. The good, high quality people at Sanford that don't feel comfortable with this have a place to go.
Yep.
And I think I have reached out. I've talked with hospital administrators, and they are thinking the same thing.
They're thinking the same.
That's not what they're saying
Nope,
publicly,
not yet,
but they're thinking.
of course you have to think that way. You just have to
Well,
be
you're going to
compete.
right. At this time, the hospitals, the various competing hospitals are simply saying they're evaluating at this time. Now, there's going to be huge pressure. They may all cave, and everyone's going to need to have COVID vaccines. But at this time, there are standouts. So for people that don't want to get vaccinated, who are employees of Sanford, number one, you have until November 1st. Number two, you can try. They have 3% of their employees do not have to take the flu vaccine because of medical or religious exemptions. So you can apply for a religious exemption. We've talked with Doug Billings. The best route to go for a religious exemption is likely to say that the fetal line, the fetal cell line involved with the vaccine goes against your religion, and you can use that, and then you can continue working for this very awesome organization called Sanford. Or you can go to the competition and say, look, I am a damn good blank, whatever your title is,
Yep.
and I just value personal choice. How about hiring me? Here's what I make, match it, I'm coming over to you. Anyway, so
North Dakota Health Freedom is a really good source too to get
Yes,
some help
they are.
on that too. So go and find them also too.
anyway, to all you Sanford employees, good luck that you are able to make a decision. I hope that it is not too disruptive for your lives.
All right, now as we go to break, I want to do a little self-promotion here. It's odd, but we're going to promote the fact that Beck TV is up for Best of the Best, which is super, super cool. So what you do is you go to that number there. I have it in my phone as Best of the Best, and I put it in there, and then every day you can go 699 and text it to it, and you can vote for Beck TV, which you should, because we are really pretty fantastic.
Wait, what?
here.
You text 699. What does that do? Does that pull up the
That's-
website?
No, it pulls up. You just automatically get your vote that way. Automatically, you go to the
699.
6992. Yep, you go to 369-9464, and you text in there 699, and you can vote twice a day through August 9th, as it says on the bottom there, and get your vote in for Beck TV for Best of the Best. All right, when we come back, we've got a guest, and I think you're going to love him. His name is John Burnett. Stay with us.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
Go for Launch 2018 series winner. Without further ado, it is my honors. Regina. The winning team is the Flumen River Pixel.
Oh my God!
They won!
Hey, we are back. No apologies. And by the way, if you're going to go do that best of the best, there is a category for politician.
I saw that
And I
too.
am up running against Doug Burgum.
Right.
So I'm just saying, if you want to go to the website, you might want to look at that one.
Right.
All right, introduce our guest, please,
Shameless
Lori.
self-promotion.
Yes.
We love that. Okay, so with us today from New York, are you in New York today, John? John Burnett, a political commentator. Are you in New York?
Yes.
How are things in New York?
Well, we're not under Republican rule, so things aren't that great.
Well, we have super majorities here, and we have all of the states, so we're doing well. But you know what? We're still fighting anyway, because you know there's always going to be people who are not as conservative as they maybe think they are. Okay, so John, we wanted to talk to you today a little bit about the fact that Republicans. Now, you're a Republican. I met you down in Florida, actually, at an RNC event. And we had such a great discussion there. I thought, oh, we really need this guy to come on and talk about stuff. So today my topic that I'd like to ask you a little bit about is, do you see Democrats starting to leave the fold and move to the Republican side? And also I wanted to make a point that I have this story that I saw about Alabama, who elected their first black legislator in 140 years since Reconstruction. Retired Army Sergeant Alabama's first black Republican elected. This is just amazing. He says he just can't believe how much stuff that he can do now in this position. He's very, very excited about it. I want your take on this one, John.
Well, I'm very happy for him. Hopefully, we'll have more at the House level as well as Senate, U.S. Senate. Well, I think it's a shift to some degree, in part based upon the Trump wave. Trump, over the last several years, with his messaging and the specific issues that he addressed, and arguably the first president that was able to pass material legislation that really positively impacted the Black community nationwide. So I think with the results and the messaging, he was able to garner the most votes by a Republican presidential nominee, and he happened to be someone running for a second term, so a sitting president as well in the last 50, 60 years. So I think there is a certain level of residual that the GOP has benefited from. But with that said, I think it's very important, as you already know, that politics is local. It's important that, city, state, and that local apparatus really ride Trump's wave to continue the making inroads and getting, you're not going to get everyone, but getting individuals in the Black and the broader urban community to hear our message with the right messaging and the right policies. I think it can continue, but it's definitely an anomaly that we should celebrate. But we have to figure out what the right strategy is so that way we can continue to have these type of results at the House level as well as possibly, the state, not state, but U.S. Senate level. So that way Tim Scott is not the only one.
Right? No, that's so very true. Well, this gentleman's name is retired Army Sergeant Kenneth Pascal, and he was elected to fill a legislative seat in suburban Shelby County in Alabama, and he became the only Black Republican in the Alabama legislature. And I think that is so overdue and so about time. And I think that it hopefully is the little crack in the ceiling, if you will, so that, like you say, Tim Scott isn't there all by himself.
Right, but here's the thing though, I have a business mind, right? So I dig deeper, go beyond the headlines in the article, and I'll say, you know what, I'd like to know what the demographic makeup of that district really is. I'm not trying to undermine the win. A win is a win, right? But in terms of inroads into non-traditional demographics, a place like Alabama, a Republican would win. We have to actually build on this, get more candidates of diverse backgrounds to even want to win, especially in places like Alabama. But we also have to make those inroads in places like California and where I am in New York, to try to get some wins. And I don't like the phrase "change the face of the party." Right. Just get similar representatives that look different, and I think that'll go over extremely well for the party. And we do that with the right messaging and the right strategy to engage individuals, and not just let the national narrative dictate what a Republican is. We have to bring that local.
No, that's exactly right.
I think that's fantastic. I agree with you, John. I think that this is going to be a phenomenon where Trump did help sort of open, was sort of the tip of the spear. And I think we're going to see that for several years because, of course, it's not as though suddenly people are just abundantly ready to jump into congressional and Senate races. But now they're activated, if you will, to say, hey, I'm proud to be a Republican. Republican stands for the family values I stand for, and they'll maybe go. You indicated local, mayorships and city councils and state legislatures and so on.
Can I be very blunt on this show?
Please.
Sure, that's why we call it No Apologies, honey.
Okay, excellent, good. So no apologies off the bat. I think we could do a better job at messaging as a party, right? When it comes to CRT, I don't think white conservatives really address this challenge effectively. What do I mean by that? Well, the way we approach it, I think makes white conservatives look like a bigot, right? In terms of, no, we need to stop that, right? Why are we teaching this type of history and so forth? Instead, we should actually appeal to our principles. What am I saying? What the teachers union have shown us over the last several years through Common Core and this very chaotic curriculum CRT, that if they want to, they have the political will and the strength to push a nationwide curriculum down people's throats. When they should be thinking about, and we need to really push this message nationwide, it's time to really do a wholesale change in our education system and put STEM curriculum in there, as well as financial education.
Yes.
Why is that?
Bingo.
Why is that important? Because CRT is going to do nothing other than say, why a person's grandfather couldn't get a loan 50 years ago, but it doesn't educate people today on how to manage their finances and be a part of the capitalist system by getting a loan today, acquiring assets, and creating wealth. This is capitalism. That's what we should focus on. That's how you close income gaps between races and so forth. I think we need to change our approach on how we combat CRT and other topics as they come up.
I love that. If we took an approach, instead of saying just no CRT, period, if we said no, instead of CRT, which causes division, we're going to implement a curricula which is healthy, wealthy, and happy. I mean, what skin color doesn't want that?
Exactly. Because we're so much in a mode of defense, we forget that we need to play offense.
Amen.
And when we play offense, we put points on the board and we can win people over.
Exactly love it. All right, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about people who are actually right now leaving the Democratic Party and some other topics when we come back with you. Stay over, John.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Prairie Patriot Firearms and Training is the region's most complete gun and training center. 5-lane indoor range, a gun shop, and a certified training facility. Firearms training courses are offered daily for new, intermediate, and advanced shooters. If you're not comfortable in a classroom setting, Prairie Patriot offers one-on-one private lessons, from basic self-defense training to concealed weapons testing, along with a full line of guns, ammunition, holsters, and concealment clothing. Prairie Patriot, 3930 Memorial Highway, prairiepatriot.com.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York style pizza. We also feature gyros with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
We're back. It's No Apologies, your after-hours oasis of sanity. I am your host, Rick Becker, co-host Lori Hintz,
Hello
and
there.
we're going to cut right back to John Burnett, fascinating guest. John, welcome back.
Thank you.
During the break and a little bit in the previous segment, you were talking about the importance and why are we not emphasizing financial education. And, you know, it occurs to me, this is just, you know, I forget what his name is, the author, something like Kawasaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
Right. It occurs to me that since it's not in the school system at all effectively, if there is anything that is keeping someone from having economic mobility, income mobility, it's probably that. Because if you have a dad or mom that's highly successful financially, they're going to pass that on. If you don't, who the hell is going to teach that to you? And coming from a school, especially with most of the kids in public school, I think that should be a focus. I agree.
Yeah, you know what? You can't take CRT to the bank, right? it's non-negotiable.
Yeah, non-fungible.
Yeah, this critical race
Exactly.
theory stuff, the CRT and critical race theory, I have seen so many great videos recently of parents just freaking out at school boards, and I'm happy to see that parents are actually reacting to this. They really are.
And let me let you know a little secret, right? So a lot of my Black Democrat friends, right? They bash me for being a Republican, right? They bash Trump, they bash anything on the right. But when it's time to make money or consider an investment, guess who they call for advice? Why? Because no one on that side knows how to make money. They don't even know how to evaluate the tax benefits or tax strategies, right? So while they bash us, or in that case, in that example, they constantly call me for financial advice. And I even tell them, look, too many of you go to financial preparers instead of getting your taxes done by a CPA that can actually give you advice. Right. So we got to change the culture in the urban community, and we do that by actually with a platform and messaging that's inclusive in terms of the financial opportunities and how you create wealth.
Talk a little bit about what you do so that people can get to know you a little bit, because we'll have you on again. I have a feeling Dr. Becker over here is like, we're going to have this guy on. So I want you to give people a little background of where you came from and what you do now.
Well, I was born in the People's Republic of Brooklyn, New York, raised in Queens, and I live in Harlem now. And I got my start in 1989 as a margin analyst at Dean Witter. I didn't have a college degree at the time, but they gave me an opportunity, and I'm thankful for that. And I worked my way up, went back to school, one of the hardest things I've ever done, back to school at night for my undergrad and graduate and my MBA, and while actually leading and managing divisions by day. And, you know, I have a Wall Street background in risk, finance, operations. so many different facets of Wall Street, and then ran for New York City comptroller in 2013. I was one of 5 people that ran. I came in second place. I refused to say that I lost. And and ever since then, you know, I've been actively involved in politics. I started my own business consulting company that also has a public affairs arm. And then my alma mater, NYU, asked me to teach. I teach business management and organizational behavior. And they promoted me to assistant adjunct professor. They tease me from time to time. When I walk in, they say, "Oh, here comes Fox News."
It must be a really interesting that you're in New York, you're a Republican, which is on its own, but then you're at NYU too at the same time. They must look at you like you're an alien.
Oh, I have to correct you. I'm just not a Republican. I'm a Republican that supports Donald Trump, right?
Even more so, right?
Here's the thing. My students, some are conservative, some are far left, but what they all appreciate is that I bring a concept of applied learning to the classroom. So you can't get by memorizing the chapter. Through my exams and exercises, you have to think things through, use critical thinking, use analysis, and actually use it and apply it to real life situations. Whatever's going on in the news cycle, in terms of business news cycle, how do you apply it? And they hate me for the first 4 weeks, but by the end of the semester, they all appreciate it, whether they're Bernie Sanders supporters or they love Donald Trump. They all want that information and they feel empowered. So that is the reason why we need to make sure before they even get to, let's say, a John Burnett's class, K through 12, they're empowered with financial understanding. That benefits the individual, but guess what? It benefits everyone. Why? Because the next invention or a way to streamline a process can come from anybody once they're freed. And part of that freedom is gaining more understanding and information on how our economy and markets work. We all benefit when we all have knowledge and understanding.
Great stuff.
Well said.
Yeah, I know. I knew you would like this.
Yep.
All right. So I want to just circle back a little bit, and that's a Psaki term, back to the fact that I'm looking at Democrats starting to really leave. For instance, the North Las Vegas mayor flipped to Republican recently. Flipped. Right. I'm down in McAllen, Texas. They got a mayor that all of a sudden decided, that's it, I'm going to be a Republican too. So this seems to be a phenomenon that has just started, but I think that there might be a wave coming here on this too. And then I was also reading an article about a former CIA officer, and he left, and his trigger was the second impeachment of Trump. And that was it for him. And I thought that was a really interesting reason that he was going to leave.
Well, people aren't flipping. They're running from the Democratic Party, right? Why? Well, I'll give you an example. In New York, public safety. You cannot have bail reform and all these other reforms that empower thieves to walk into stores and openly grab products and walk right out the front door without actually being stopped or approached.
Right.
This
California
is
the same way.
Madness. So the first basic fundamental right is public safety and feeling secure. Secondly, Democrats are continuously hitting the working class in their pocketbooks and their purses. Right? And then when you look at the value system, especially for women, they're destroying women's sports, women opportunities. This is madness. And they're saying, no mas. We're not taking this anymore. We're going to switch parties. And if they don't switch parties, they're going to start voting with common sense Republicans.
That's fantastic. So you see that the across the gamut demographically, people are leaving the Democratic Party. Let me ask you, Candace Owens, Blexit, is that a thing in and of itself, or is that part and parcel with just the exodus of people from the party?
Well, I think it's a part of it. There's different factions and different reasons why people leave. But, as I tell people in New York, I'm not interested in you switching parties, right? Because if you're upset with Republicans, then you might switch back. I'm more so concerned about educating you on the real issues, on what empowerment is and what freedom is, so that way you'll vote the right way each time, regardless of what party you're in.
John, you are a solid individual. You got to come to North Dakota and share a drink with me, sir.
Absolutely. And while we're at it, another thing as conservatives, what we need to do, we need to stop with the usual talking points. Well, you need voter ID to buy alcohol, to board a plane. They already know that. Let's stick to the basics. ID is dignity, right? I don't know if you know, but in New York, it's against the law for anyone to walk around without ID. Why? Because if something happens to you, if you're unconscious or there's a fatality, a dead body has no dignity if it doesn't have ID. The same thing with live bodies. No ID means that you have no dignity. Nobody knows who you are. Everybody matters, and a ID that could be used for everything, including voting, says that you matter. Why? Because we know you exist.
100%.
Wow.
I love it, love it. All right, John, we'll have you on again, trust me. And we really appreciate you taking your time out to talk to us.
Thanks so much, John. Very much
Thanks for
appreciated.
having me.
He used the D word, which makes my heart go pitter-patter.
I know, right?
All right, folks, we are going to be back and have a little mailbag for you.
When you're buying windows, make sure you're comparing apples to apples. Hi, I'm Jesse with the Window Source. We only sell you the best windows and doors for the best price. Call the Window Source. Just because you pay less doesn't mean you get less.
Calling all first responders. Join us Saturday, July 31st for First Responders Night at the Bismarck Event Center. The Bucks take on the Green Bay Blizzard with a 7:10 p.m. Central Time kickoff, and will highlight those who serve and protect our communities. For more information on tickets, visit bismarckbucks.com and download your free general admission ticket today. Saturday, July 31st, it's the Blizzard versus your Bismarck Bucks. See you on the 31st. Go Bucks!
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York style pizza. We also feature Heroes with the region's only Hero meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
We're the ladies of Another View, bringing you a fresh view on local issues.
And different perspectives you won't get on the mainstream media. Watch us weekday afternoons at 4:30 Central Time on Beck News and at beck.news.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Could you do us a favor? Beck TV is a finalist for Best Local TV Station in the Bismarck Tribune's Best of the Best. Vote now through August 9th by text or online. Vote for your leader in local, Beck TV.
time for Mailbag.
It's been a while since we have actually peeked in the mailbag, so we're going to hit it right off the bat with something that we talked about quite a long time ago. We had Peggy Young-Nance from Concerned Women for America on, and she talked a little bit about Planned Parenthood. Let's show our very first slide. Some query that we put up on the Facebook page here, too. Did you know that under the Biden administration, Planned Parenthood is receiving 19 times more money than they did under Obama?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
We had some pretty good
So
comments.
someone says, Planned Parenthood shouldn't get any tax funds. Matter of fact, time to restart thinking any business receiving funds they didn't earn. Tax money shouldn't be supporting such businesses no matter their excuse. Also time to rethink how much money is funneled through the government and public employees when unions are involved along with private union contractors on the public's payroll. Too many jobs sitting idle when there should be work being done. Time to abolish them too or cut the budgets we don't answer to and pay unions to do the job. If they have money for politics, then they have too much money from taxpayers. I agree. I don't think tax money should go to Planned Parenthood. And I agree tax money shouldn't go to any businesses, which is why I'm opposed to corporate welfare.
Exactly. So who is all aware of how much Planned Parenthood is involved with organ harvesting and child trafficking? Go check it out. I think Project Veritas really kind of opened that stuff up to everybody, too. And then the last one says most of the Planned Parenthoods are in or in walking distance of minority neighborhoods as well. So you can see the demographic that they are targeting and disposing of. Which
That is an interesting little factoid. And I don't know if it means what it seems like it means, but it is concerning. I'll say that.
You would think that you wouldn't want to destroy your base.
No.
But again, that would be logical. So, okay. Our next one, our next post that we have here is, we are going on offense about the lies against conservatives. Do you approve? And I tell you what, affirmative. There were a lot of people who weighed in about this. Apparently, you may have hit on something, struck on something, Rick, where people were just frustrated that nobody was actually countering these lies.
Right. Well, and we hear it from all sorts of places. We hear it from radio talk show hosts, and we hear it from columnists, and we hear it everywhere. And it's really been, for one thing, the average person, what can they do?
Right.
They can do a post on social media. But for us so-called principled conservatives that have a little bit more of a podium, they're not hearing from us. And I think they're getting frustrated. Now, here the thing is, I decided I had enough. Not so much, no one was really pressuring me to do it at all, but I just got to the point where it's like, these guys won't shut up.
Right.
They just keep going. I wanted to ignore them. I didn't want to bring attention to their stupid radio shows or columns, but I've had enough, and I'm just not going to dignify it anymore. So I start hitting, we're going to keep hitting, and people apparently love it.
Let's take a look at some of the responses here, too. We're going on the offensive. Do you approve, was the query. Yes, somebody says, I will always approve of defense of conservatism. Thank you, and God bless. Somebody says, make North Dakota great again. Here's a savvy viewer. He goes, shift that Overton window.
Yeah, that was the day we used that term.
Yeah, and speak louder for those in the back. So I would say yes, absolutely, and take them down while you're at it. Woo. Yes, their lies need to be met with the truth. Needs to be done ASAP, absolutely. Yes, please. Yes, long overdue, absolutely. We got a lot of that. There were a lot of yeses. And then this one is my favorite. You are go for liftoff. The show is called No Apologies. Just saying.
It sounds like you wrote that one.
I did not. It does sound like I would have said that, but I did not write that one. Somebody else did. Thank you very much. It was good. All right. Now we have one more.
One more.
Okay. So this one is along the same lines, and we posted, Rick is done with talking heads who lie and misinform. Time to take off the gloves. Watch his full 2-segment takedown of Scott Hennon at this link, and so then we ran those 2 segments so that people could
let me say, I will say that to go after Scott seems like it was kind of harsh to do it like we did it and use the word lie. But here's the thing. For so long, Scott has been making softer digs, we'll say, but they've been incessant and they've been repeated over and over and over so that the audience believes they are truth. And I think that, in my opinion, even though those might be softer than just going, bam, this is a lie, I think that's how we have to approach it. I think that we come out and we sing it from the rooftops, and the next time that someone like Rob Port or Scott Hennon or Joel Heitkamp wants to tell another lie about me or conservatives or Bastias or anyone else, they're not going to stop, but at least they'll have in their head, I wonder, this is going to get me maybe more viewers.
Yeah, right? Or
but it's also giving me a lot of crap. So anyway, they'll think about it
And I
twice.
like Doug Billings' take on this one, too. When we had Doug Billings on the program, he says they are intellectually immature. And I think that
These arguments are horrible.
I know.
If I had any of these guys on the show and we could just go back and forth, they would be annihilated. And it's not because I'm great, it's just because their arguments suck.
So weak. All right, let's take a look at this one too. So take down, all right. So it says, very interesting and informative, somebody said. You are a lightning rod because you are who you say you are and unwilling to be intimidated by the lies. I think that is true. Hennon is a fake conservative like many others. Hennon only follows the money. And somebody said, Joe is such a liar, but he's so good at it. He must have lots of practice. He must be talking about Joe Biden.
Yeah. So, but for the most part, people are in agreement, and they say, thank you. We must stand for the truth and stand together.
Agreed.
And I agree. We principled conservatives must stand together, and we must fight back because I think it is having a toll by us being more complacent.
Great. All right, we're going to do a quick promo. Best of the best. You can still vote 2 times a day. You text it in. Just the number on the top there, 369-9464, and you text 699 for Beck TV. Vote twice daily, and thank you for your votes. We'll be right back.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with 1 truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Spas, etc. Yeah. You've come to know and trust us for over 18 years with the largest selection and showroom in Western North Dakota for our beautiful Sundance spas. Plus, you could pick out your next home experience with our selection of pool tables, shuffleboards, and fun accessories.
Spas, etc. Your relaxation destination on Main and Bismarck.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with 1 truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York style pizza. We also feature gyros with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to pull them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
All right, we're back. It's the final segment of No Apologies, and we're running late. Let's get to it.
We're all right. So a month ago, I did a little story on the London protests and how it was amazing. There were these millions of people who were probably walking down the street, and we showed video and showed you this, and it was nowhere on the national news. The mainstream media, once again, is ignoring the unrest that is going on, not only just in London, but across the globe. It is growing. This freedom from...
A month later.
It is. A month later,
Crazy.
it is growing, and it has spread across all sorts of different countries, and I'm going to show you a little bit. First of all, London knows how to protest. These people have it going on. Roll tape. You're going to love this. This is so fabulous. I admitted I love London.
That is awesome.
They do definitely know how to protest, but what they're saying, we don't need no thought control. They are protesting COVID lockdowns and onerous things, and they just they're going great guns, but they just know how to party protest better than anybody.
Yes, I was going to say, you're right. That is, I want to go over to London right now.
It is so great. Anyway, so
Well, Pink Floyd.
that's one place. I started to look into some of the other places that were having protests. And so I found CarnegieEndowment.org, and they have a page on CarnegieEndowment.org that has active protests across the globe. Now, I will put the first slide up, but just so you know, these are from July 7th, so these aren't even counting the last couple of weeks here, too. So on this very first one, it's very, very hard to see on there. I know it's small and difficult to see, but on this very, very first one, I did screenshots of the first top of it and then going down, and it's Brazil, Colombia, Eswatini. Yeah, literally Eswatini.
What?
You're like, what is Eswatini? Well, I looked it up. Anyway, it goes down to Israel, Lebanon, Myanmar, Peru, Slovenia, Sudan, and ends up with United States and West Bank at the bottom. So the next slide, I decided to start looking at these to see what in particular they are protesting. Well, in Brazil, they are protesting coronavirus response protests. In Colombia, it is tax proposal protests. In Eswatini, and Eswatini, by the way, I had to look it up. I'm like, what is Eswatini? And Eswatini is officially the Kingdom of Eswatini and formerly still commonly known in English as Swaziland. Officially renamed in 2018, and those of us who just were not into Swaziland after 2018 did not realize it is bordered by Mozambique to its northeast and South Africa to its northwest and south at no more. It's only 120 miles north to south and 81 miles east to west, but they are still protesting in Eswatini as well. So you've got, they are pro-democracy protests in Eswatini. In Haiti, presidential term protests. Now go to the next slide, and the next one, I've highlighted another 3 of these. In Myanmar, it is coup protests. In Peru, electoral protests. And then in Slovenia, it says anti-Jansa or Jansa protests, and then that is technically a COVID protest as well. The next one, the next page shows another 3. In Thailand, maybe you haven't heard, in Thailand they're having anti-government protests. In Tunisia, police brutality protests. And in the United Kingdom, coronavirus lockdown protests. Now these have all escalated over the last couple of weeks. And it's like freedom is contagious.
Wow.
And nobody's saying anything about it in the national press is why I'm sharing it with you here tonight, because it's so aggravating to me that I'm not seeing it anywhere else except just a couple of things in maybe Telegram that I'm seeing, little tidbits in Telegram.
It is interesting because
TikTok, I mean,
if you saw a lot of that, that would bolster your intentions
and your confidence, and it would grow even more. But because
your resolve to actually follow through. Yes,
precisely. But because it's repressed like this and hidden. Now this is my personal favorite. Somebody put together a TikTok video, and this TikTok video I saw on Telegram. And if you're not on Telegram, It's a whole new world to you because it's not censored. It's amazing, and I have to admit, I'm starting to dig it because seriously, I'm getting so much information that the mainstream press is just repressing. So let's roll tape. See that last sign? No COVID passports.
Nice.
It's going on
I love it.
all over the globe.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Muse, it's a great song.
I know, I really, really like that song too. I played it a few hundred times. I will say this. Keep your eyes open for little tidbits like that because it is happening and nobody's saying anything in the mainstream press. There's nothing even going on the Fox Newses or Newsmaxes that I've seen about it yet either. It's the people in those countries who are putting TikToks out.
How did the Bastiats get all around the world to try and incite these people to go against their leadership?
It just grew like crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. All right. Tomorrow, great treat for you. The second reporter who decided she was going to leave network TV. After Ivory Hecker, it was April Moss. And you got to meet her at Freedom Fest. We're going to have her on tomorrow, so you are not going to want to miss that show. And we'll have our first tape from Freedom Fest as well. So join us. Do not miss it.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.